So, all right, welcome. Today, no joke today. Today we're going to present Art Sapp, Skip Dana, both two of the most prominent captains in the area. We're here to announce that we're going to do our first ever tournament talk edition today, and it's going to be an ongoing monthly show. It's going to be an episode segment that we're going to do. If you guys have questions to ask these guys as we progress this, please do so. Leave a comment on our YouTube or email us at sales@connectedbywater or get us on social media. If we ask your question on the show, they may or may not answer it. I don't know. We may or may not give you a prize. We're not really sure yet. We're kind of making this up as we go along. So you guys want to say anything about it? Not really?
Looking forward to doing it.
All
See
right.
how
Yeah,
it
excited.
works
It's
out.
gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So thank you guys very much.
Sure. Oh, sorry. Forgot to put those over there.
Yeah, I don't know how many times we'll be fishing. Steve will be like, "Hey," I look over. He's got fucking ball sack strapped under his fucking underwear. I'm like, "What are you doing, man?" He's like, "Gotcha."
What about Miami at the hotel? Fortunately, I had passed out at this point, but I'm told about boys are getting ready to go out, and Steele has his sack all but hanging on the ground while he's sitting on the couch, and he pulled on a rubber Johnson. His own
yeah.
was right. He was so damn, Jimmy, that thing ain't gonna work anymore, dude.
That was a good
Boy,
one.
we'll
too.
hang it
That's
out
awesome.
there.
I don't know if those stories should make the podcast.
No.
Well, we're recording, so
Perfect.
if we choose to do so later, we have the option.
Closer.
Yeah, you probably go there.
Yeah,
yeah.
little, yeah.
As long as like you could probably tell if you start hearing echo on your own, then you're too far.
Gotcha.
But if you stop hearing the echo, then you're good. So, and if you want to make an impact, you just
If you want to go Barry White, get a little closer.
can't get enough of your love, baby. So, all right. I'm eating so I don't pass out.
I'm chomping on gum, so
It's all good.
Dude, they
Well-
make videos with that shit now. People making god awful noises and people buy into it. They
With gum?
everything.
Anything.
Dude, it's
Madara's
awful.
watched this one. This lady,
It'll make you throw up.
she's from
There's a name for it too.
one of the
ASMR or something. Yeah.
it was somewhere in Oriental. Like she's got like a beautiful mouth, Asian, but she's like she bites you like ice
Connected
and
by
stuff
water.
like that.
It's
It's
politically
crazy.
correct edition. They're just filming her chewing gum.
No,
I'll
she's
do
like
anything.
biting stuff. It's the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen.
And people are into
This
that
is a
shit.
thing now?
Oh yeah, people are into it. Dude, they love it. Yeah.
Dude, my daughters will watch it for hours.
Freaking internet.
It's so weird.
Your daughters will watch it for hours, just people eating.
And it's one lady, like eating like crunching through ice, and it's the crazy.
What's her name?
I couldn't tell you. Some Oriental chick,
Asian.
Asian. Whatever.
It's all good. So we're gonna look that up, right? Like, hopefully John.
No, he knew what it was. He
Oh,
had
no,
the,
you
he had
know
the
what's her
letters.
name?
I don't know
her.
that one, but like the style, it's called ASMR. Where it's just like sound effects. So nobody talks. It's just like you just hear the sounds of whatever they're doing. Like I watched something. It's not nothing weird, but this guy has a cooking show. He goes out into the woods, and he just prepares this fucking awesome meal, and he doesn't talk the whole time. It's just him. You just hear like the knife cutting and the river in the background and stuff. I don't know. Sometimes it can be pretty
Soothing.
soothing.
Cathartic.
Yeah.
Cathartic.
Sounds weird.
Oh shit!
Some of them are pretty weird.
All right, so that's how we're gonna start this first ever edition of Connected by Water.
So maybe we should have a video of Art
tournament
and I
talk.
chomping on ice.
That's it. I brought my apple. That's what started this whole conversation. I have an apple here, and whatever. Maybe in the middle of the podcast, if we get a little slow, I'll start chewing.
I can't
Apparently,
take
it's
it.
a thing. So the Connected by Water. This is the first ever edition of Connected by
talk.
Water, presented by Joey Carter Chrysler
Yes.
Dodge Jeep Subaru.
Ram Subaru of Pompano Beach. Tournament Talk Edition with Art and Skip.
Yay.
Right? Captain Art Sapp and Captain Skip Dana. We're going to be
Sellout.
doing this.
There you go. I channeled Jim Steele.
Still mad.
We're good.
So we're going to be doing this like every month or so. right? Something like
Absolutely.
that. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
for the future untold.
Absolutely.
For as long as it takes. As long as we feel cathartic enough to do this for ourselves.
There you go. Good word.
As long as we keep having tournaments, we'll keep doing
Well,
it.
that's it. That's it.
And
So
keep letting us play in them.
this is going to be your source to come to get a recap on tournaments, to get a recap on or an upcap on what's coming up, and and how we feel about it.
Upcap, is that a word?
I don't know.
I
I
liked
kind of
it.
made it up.
I liked it.
recap, upcap. That was I
liked
pivoted right there.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk today first about.
Uh-oh.
I know the first one we're going to talk about. I had dinner with someone last night.
Oh, you're scaring me.
Yep. And he promised me that I would mention this as one of the first tournaments to talk about of the year is the Seawall Rodeo.
Oh.
So I went to dinner with Brandon Rhodes last night.
I call him Gus.
Gus. And I told him, I said, oh, yeah, Skip and Art are coming in tomorrow and blah, 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 tournament talk edition. And he's like, oh, you got to mention the Seawall Rodeo.
There we go.
So I promised him I would. So can you talk about the Seawall Rodeo at all? Or is
Seawall
it kind of like
Rodeo-
all
the
clandestine?
Seawall Rodeo kind of went by the wayside last year,
That's what he said, yeah.
but I hope we can bring it back. Unfortunately, we're all grown up and starting to adult now.
Right.
But the Seawall Rodeo is basically just a bunch of dudes getting hammered and trying to catch blowfish.
Right. Like lane
basic-
snappers and stuff, right?
Well, no.
Just blowfish, is
It's
that-
basically a junk tournament. So if
Okay.
you catch a snapper, if you catch a mangrove, a snook, anything good, you lose points.
You lose points for the
There's,
good fish.
and there's a very specific point system. Blowfish are worth a certain amount of points. Catfish are worth points. Like a mud dabber or stargazer is worth like multiple points.
Really?
I was in the lead like 2 years ago, and nobody really saw it, but somebody said they caught a mud dabber, which is worth like 1 million points.
You talking about little mud skippers?
Yeah.
Those
And then-
little crawl around on their belly things?
Yeah, those ones.
Okay.
But it's also like midnight and we're hammered. So
He said there was an award for that, by the
yeah.
way.
Well,
Like most drunk. Like wins like a gift certificate to like Blue
Big
and Fish
Sexy's
Company
got
or
that
something.
handled.
Gus has won it. No, I never make it that far. I always tap out early. But no, it was always at Gus's dad's, Brandon's dad's house.
Right.
And it's just a good time, everybody getting together. I've only got involved like the last 5 years, but I think they've been doing it for like 15 years.
He says a long time, yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically all the guys that played ball together and went to Gibbons together. It was just an excuse to get together, and now everybody's got family and kids, and
Yeah.
kind of
He says once the wives started coming into the picture, they were like, no, we're not doing this. No. It was 2
I've never
days
done it.
before Christmas, he said, right? So
it's always Christmas Eve.
yeah, Christmas Eve.
And
So
the last year we did it off Fish City, and it was a blast.
yeah.
But yeah, it's not the same. It was better in Gus's dad's backyard.
Well, he asked me to be on the committee.
Did he make you put in a formal letter?
No.
So I'm actually gonna send a letter in
Okay.
as a protest,
Okay.
because to be involved at all, you have to put in a letter in writing.
Okay.
And you have to be approved by the committee
All
to
right,
to
then-
be on the committee.
All right,
So,
then I'll put in a letter.
not before I put in my protest.
You don't want me on the committee?
No, I'm fine with that, but I'm definitely gonna put in my protest letter.
Okay. All right. No problem.
What do we protest? I know
I
nothing
don't
about
know.
any of it.
I don't know.
Wait
So-
till you get. Well, you're linked in with like 30 or 40 other guys.
That's what he said. Yeah.
So the responses are really rich. They're awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
It's so he talked about the Christmas Eve really was the problem,
Yes.
and so he talked about maybe we do it sometime in February. I'm like, well, why don't you do it the Saturday before the Super Bowl? Because no one's really doing anything then, right? There's no tournaments that weekend.
There used to be.
I
Bears
think
Cup
it's
used to
going
go
to be
on
the
there,
IGFA Cup or the IGFA this year.
Yeah.
I think.
All right.
but- Yeah, well, whatever.
Moving right along.
Yeah.
So
Next. Ding. Next.
yeah, ding. There you go, Brandon. Solid. All right.
Solid. Make
So-
sure I'll tell him to make sure he watches.
Yeah. Oh, he got a text just before we were about to come in the
Okay.
room. I said, yeah, whatever.
Here it goes.
You call him.
Anyway.
Oh, hey, what was that?
Is that you? I didn't bring my phone in the room. What is that?
Not me.
Is that you? So the first tournament we're going to talk about is Dust 'em Off. Right? It's Skip. It's you? That's your
I'm on
phone?
silent. I'll shut it off.
That's right. You're
Siri's
good.
talking to you.
It's Siri. She doesn't listen anyway.
So Dust 'em Off was rough.
Rough.
And how'd
It was
everyone
thrilling.
do?
See, that wasn't me, was it?
All right, it's him.
Definitely
It's him. It's him. It's good. We're good.
It
How'd it
was.
go?
For us, it went okay. It was, I'll admit, on several occasions early in the morning, some folks were mentioning that Waterford or whatever it is just inside Boca Inlet looked like a really great spot to go fishing. As it was great. We leave Hillsborough Inlet, knew we had a little offshore in the morning. We're going to run up the beach and had a spot in Delray where I'd been charter fishing all week where the fish were showing up in the ballyhoo's good. Mm-hmm. And, dude, there's nothing more fun than casting on sails on the surface they're feeding. So you know you're going to get them to bite, right?
Right.
And say, well, we're fast. We'll leave a little bit late and let the crowd go to wherever they're going to go. I haven't seen another boat in the area all week. We should have it to ourselves. And we do that, pull on in there, and Pretty Nikki is literally sitting right dead on top of the high spot in the reef where the ballyhoos have been sort of congregating. This guy's from Miami. How does he know this?
Yeah.
I brought some fish to Eddie Wheeler, who had done a favor for me a little while ago. Turns out he was talking to Eddie Wheeler, and he somehow knew about it. And so that whole thing. And he's there, so we can make our moves, whatever. There's plenty of ocean to fish around in there. And turns out Nick wins the thing with his exceptional crew there now on, what are they, Showtime, they're calling that boat.
Showtime.
But same deal, he got in those fish that were up in the ballyhoos. But the thrill was, you run on the beach, it's flat calm, it's beautiful. We probably 25 knots or so off the northwest. We put our Cat 5s up, just testing. So we know we got wind coming. And say, bring them back down. We see the rain's coming too. Yeah, that's me. I always remember last time.
Sorry, Jeff Conine agrees with you.
Yes, he does. 5 minutes before line's in, up comes the wind. It's humping every bit of 40 knots, and it's raining now. And so here we go.
So the conditions started off okay
on the run up there. Yeah, it was beautiful. But 5 minutes before line's in, it's blowing 40 knots. It's raining, and it goes literally. The ocean goes from a 2-foot little ground sea, little wind chop to 10 foot in 20 minutes.
It was really quick.
I mean, I've never seen it get so big so fast, and it was close together big. So I mean, literally just blowing the tops off. And
it's one of those soupy kind of
Oh, it was unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, there was water on deck and water blowing, standing in the gap tower. So my eyes are 25 feet or so above sea level, whatever, and I'm taking sprays not from the boat. I could carry that, whatever. We can deal with the rock, and that's no big deal. But there's water blowing off the ocean, it just bombing you all day long. The rain didn't matter. Getting bombed with salt water. Well, for the first 3.5 hours of 40+ knot winds and rain.
Catching any
and
fish?
Spray.
Catching any fish through this?
No.
Right? Nothing.
I saw a boat catch one, and I heard of a couple caught in that mess. But we gave up on the kites at that point. There was no way.
How many fish did Showtime release?
8.
They had 8.
8, mostly later in the day. It kind of settled in with it. Like I said, it lasted 3 hours, and we tried to cast. I saw a few fish get up in the ballyhoos during that, and we tried to cast on them. One attempt, herring, the dude all but sidearmed and looked like it was going to be a perfect cast. The thing got in the wind and just fluttered off like a butterfly. It was amazing. Well, that's not going to work.
Right.
So we were just bumping along there, and I was all 4 motors and gear throttled up a little bit to hold into the wind to keep the current from carrying my baits past me. Because initially I was thinking I'd turn the stern, we'd kind of troll down sea. Well, I'd had to been in reverse to slow the boat enough to present bait, I think. And I didn't want to have my guys eyeballs into that wind and rain and spray all day long. So I said, all right, we'll spin it around. I'll fish bow into the sea and bump along slow trolling. And it was so hard to do because the wind was blowing us so hard backwards that I was literally all 4 motors and gear throttled up on one side to stay ahead of my bait. And even then, everything's slack. And we hooked a quad at one point, and the wind had come down to about 35 knots or so at that point, maybe 30. And everything was slack, and I saw a fish feed back there.
Word for it.
Dude, I came out of the tower. I said, fuck it, I'm getting crushed up here. I came out of the tower, got down below. I saw a fish feed back there. Steele says I'm bit. One of the other fellows says, I think I'm bit too. And before it could do anything, Steele's fish starts jumping. He gets tight, and we see line, like all 3 other lines. All we're fishing 4 lines in an 8-line tournament, which is devastating. But and you see all 3 of the other lines laid across his.
8-line tournament?
Yeah. And his. Most of them are 7, but this one's 8.
Yeah.
All 3 of the other spinning rods are laid. We're talking 2 rigger baits and 2 flat lines, and they're all laid across Steele's, who was on the left flat, his line. So, and I see him, he's tight. I said, well, screw it, leave the bails open. One fella just stuck his rod and rod holder bail open and went to the bow and tried to cast another bait, try to get another bite. Because clearly we're in a pack of fish here. And all we saw was the 1 feed, but the other 2 were starting to dump line pretty hard. Clearly something's going on. So rod's still bail open and rod holder, and I'm over here trying to figure it out. Whatever, I stick it back in rod holder. We catch Steele's fish through that. Get separation. Fish eases off. He walks over and closes the bail on the one that I was trying to figure out how, and just left the bail open the whole time. Close the bail, starts reeling a little bit. I'm tight. He bit again. But I'm thinking it's bit the whole time.
one way to feed 'em.
Yeah, so everybody closes their bail at that point, and there's 3 fish jumping. They come straight to the boat. One of them, Rob, parts off. I think he was so knotted up from this deal, but the other 2 come straight to the boat. Steele catches 2 fish in about a minute, and in a minute after that, Bernard gets his for a triple that when Uncle Ben calls me and says, dude, that was the coolest triple I ever seen in 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Wow.
From fish to fish to fish, bang, bang, right down the side of the boat,
Yeah.
basically.
Bernard was on the boat too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He fishes with us now.
Nice.
So, but that's how it started for us. But that was like right at noon. We hadn't caught anything but kings and garbage until like 12:05.
Right.
And we catch that triple. And there'd been a few fish caught at that point. I think you had caught one.
I think we had 1 or 2, but it seemed right around that noon time is when the fish
Well, the condition finally laid off.
it laid off enough where you could actually open your eyes and not get blasted by the rain. But it was tough. It was kind of the same thing Art said. I was, I ran right off Hillsborough and was fishing the outfall, so I was about 9 miles south where those guys were. So the rain didn't get to me, so we were able to get baits up and fish for a little while. And we didn't get a sailfish bite. We had king bites and some other stuff. But once that weather hit, it was unfishable. Yeah. Basically, we were just drifting with a couple flat lines out, and everybody's hiding from the
Yeah.
guys were literally getting on the deck below the rub rail to hide from the rain. And we had 2 guys like, I wouldn't mind going home, it was that bad,
Yep.
And like I thought about it for a minute too. I'm like, man, this sucks.
Not
dude.
worth it. Yeah.
I mean, it's a tournament, so you got to fish, but
Right.
Oh, I did see some boats go home, though. I saw several boats
Some guys
say,
send it home.
dude, a lot of boats. I know a handful of boats never even went out, and I know at least 3 or 4 that went home.
yeah, I saw
was-
How
how
many
it was
boats
that
did
bad.
Ben get for the tournament?
48 or 49.
Something like
That's
that.
good.
Yeah, it was great turnout.
It's got to be the biggest turnout of Dustin
Of
Off
his,
so far.
I think
yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice.
Very pleased.
Very cool. Good for Ben, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
they were good, but I gave up trying to keep going into the wind, so I just turned around and I got offshore. There's the edge in like 140, 150. We put out 3 or 4 flat lines, and I just was riding these huge swells out and just going south.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same thing Art was seeing. There's a bunch of ballyhoos and frigate birds working them, and we couldn't get to them because if they were north of you, there's no way you could turn around and get to them. So I'm looking south. I would see them. I'd work over to them, and actually, our first fish we saw a flopper, and we kind of got
Under
close.
the frigate?
Under the frigate. Yeah. He's eating. There's a fish up there eating ballyhoos and a flopper south of him, and we kind of got close and hooked a double. Caught those, went back out, and it happened 3 times where we're kind of like moseying along, drifting, and you'd see ballyhoos get up, and fish would chase our herrings right to the boat, middle around them, and then just go away.
Yeah,
So
we had a deal like that too,
Yeah.
where it was pack fish every time, and it's frequently this time of year with the ballyhoos. They're grouping together and working together to eat those ballyhoos.
Right.
Same deal. We had a fish. We actually had one kite that we were later in the day able to get in the air, an SFE that flew through the rain, the wind. It didn't matter what was happening. That thing stayed in the air. We had 18 other kites. We attempted on the other side with helium balloons and everything else, and it maybe for 5 minutes it'd be in the air and
Yeah.
splashed back
Start
into the
doing
water.
tricks.
Yeah, not good tricks either. But so same deal. We had a kite, the left kite up, and we had a king cut a bait in half on the left short, the only short, and bringing the thing down, and a sail chases that cut bait in, and dude, I've been raising sardines now for 4 months. They're amazing. Threw 2 of them and 2 herring to this fish, and
Nothing.
he just no.
So you just looked at it.
He wanted to eat that cut in half bait,
Right.
but had wanted nothing to do with a fish that's swimming.
They're locked in on his ballyhoo.
Yep.
He's probably looking at that bait before the kingfish cut it in half and got
Yeah.
pissed. And
Yeah.
We actually caught one on the charter there on Monday where a king airs out on the thing, cuts the tail off, and the sail piles on immediately. And he had unfortunately nicked the leader too, and ended up parting off out there jumping. But
Yeah.
it's funny how that little bit of extra activity. But anyway, back to the tournaments. We're talking tournaments. We're not talking.
Oh, it's ugly.
Yeah.
Talk about all the time in the world, brother.
it was definitely all packs because we caught fish and we couldn't move, so you would get so far out of the loop you had to pick everything up and run back out. So we ran back out, put a couple flat lines out, and immediately we hooked. I think we hooked a triple. Caught 2 of those. Ran back out again. By then, the wind had come down. We got at least 1 kite up.
Mm-hmm.
Getting towards the end of the day, and we hooked another double. Caught 1 of those.
So what'd you end up with?
And we caught 5. 5 for 7.
It's a pretty good day, all conditions considered.
Conditions
I mean,
considered,
you know, it's like, you know, and what
And-
did you guys do?
And we had 2 or 3 more fish that are around the boat that, I mean, you'd see fish, but you cannot physically get to them.
They're
It's
yeah.
impossible.
Yeah, for a while there, I'd fishing those 4 spinners, and I'd tell them, look, dude, when I see it happening, I'm gonna punch it. You can dump them, whatever. We got 4 more lines.
Right.
And I was up jumping, trying to. What I would normally do on a day this time of year when the fish are up in the valley is just jump when the showers start, jump and run, and we just couldn't present to these fish. The wind was blowing so damn hard. Trying to cast on them was impossible. So, kind of started ignoring it and just kind of looping the areas where we'd see them.
Yeah.
But we ended up 6 out of 9 bites. And like you said, same deal, a bunch of fish around. But I was pleased with the guys' performance there, given the
I
conditions.
was going to say, I mean, that's a pretty good testament to both you guys and the boats that you run. I mean, to fishing conditions like that, and it's still a pretty successful day. Like,
It rained all day, Dennis.
Yeah.
Maybe
It was-
5 minutes.
I
here and
think
there.
that was probably by far the worst conditions I've ever fished in as far as the whole day went
Yeah.
for a tournament ever.
really
the
I mean,
worst.
we've been in rougher, we've been in rain, not together like
not
that.
together like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a thing. And I don't know, but maybe 3 or 4 times I fished that much wind even. Rougher, yes.
Yeah.
But dude, the morning, that first 3 hours, that wind was
40's tough, man.
Yeah.
40's tough to go
I
out
think we broke 6 kites. Literally folded
Really?
like gale force kites in half.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what we gave up.
yeah.
You know?
Well, it's a nice way to break in sailfish season.
And it was
Right?
it was so wishy washy on top. You couldn't fish a kite bit anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
tough.
I think we missed a bite on like a 6-ounce deep. I'm pretty sure it was a sailfish.
Yeah. We had 2 bites out of the kite that we caught, and like the one that chased that cut bait, and there was a few others there when that thing came in. But it was that one SFE that stayed, dude. I drew a little heart on it. It only flies in the rain now. That thing is amazing.
Awesome. So what's next though? Is that the silver sailfish?
That'll be up.
Is that the next one?
Yeah,
that you fish?
absolutely. Is it like the 8th and 9th or something like that?
I turned my phone off right
I
there.
did. Yep, I got it in
You
there.
turned your phone completely off?
Once we start in January, there's a tournament.
It's like
I think every week
yeah.
through almost through the middle of March.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep,
Yeah, it
9th
gets
and
pretty
10th
thick.
of the fishing days.
Yep.
The kickoff's the 8th.
Because then they moved the operation up to January now.
It's
Exactly.
the second week of January.
Yep.
13th,
And the third week is
13th, 14th, 15th. And
What did
then
you
got-
say silver sailfish was?
it's the 9th and 10th of the fishing days. 8th is the, and I tell you what, if nothing else, go to the captain's meeting for that thing because you get to go to
Yeah.
the club up there, the Palm Beach Sport Fishing Club, I think we call
Right.
it.
Yeah, West Palm Beach Fishing Club. It's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Old skin mounts. It's such a
I
yeah.
have to put a surreal shirt on for that day.
Come on now.
I think, dude, they'll let anybody come in there for that. That's one of the few times where you can go check out the club and
Yeah, no, for
hang
sure.
around.
That'd be cool to go to.
Yeah, it really is. It's a great spot. But yeah, that kickoff party's the 8th. We fish the 9th and 10th. Used to be a 3-day tournament, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But I love that they kept it to weekdays. Now we fish Thursday, Friday's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I guess the Jimmy Johnson did the same thing. They're moving that now to weekdays.
Are they really?
Yep,
Yeah, it's Thursday, Friday now.
they changed their format
Yeah.
up. The
Oh my!
Yes.
The council people are gonna kill me. But oh well.
Well, I mean, it's and then because the thing is with the new hotel, they want
yes,
it to be everyone to be there all day
On Saturday.
on Saturday. There's no pre-gifting. They're going to do everything on Saturday as far as the gifting suite and the
yeah.
awards and all
I
that.
think Tuesday night is going to be the captain's meeting.
Yeah.
Sign up. Wednesday night is practice. Thursday, Friday is our tournament days, and then Saturday is the pro-am.
Yep.
And Saturday night's the gifting and awards and party.
Yep.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
I love that. Other than like there's of course the fisheries council meeting is that week too, and they're gonna kill me. But what are you gonna do? It's in Georgia.
It's in Georgia.
Yeah. So I last year I spent Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in part of Wednesday. I buzzed out of there and hauled butt for Key Largo, and this year I'll do Monday, Tuesday, I guess again, and giddy up.
It's Monday, Tuesday in Georgia that week.
Well, it's Monday through Friday,
Oh, it's the whole week?
the whole week. Oh yeah.
They make you go a whole week?
Oh, dude, 4 times a year.
It's a long 4 times a year?
Oh yeah.
a lot.
It's all your fisheries regulations.
No, I
Same thing.
understand. It's long though.
Oh, it's terrible.
I had to go to that symposium for the U.S. Mint up to D.C.
yeah.
and it was 3 days. And by the time, and we had a good time, it was cool and everything like that.
Your
but it's
head's
like,
exploding.
by the time the third day, I was just like, I was like, when's the next one? Like, oh, we don't do these, but once every like 3 years or so. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. So silver sailfish, and then
So
so
excited.
this.
Well, we gotta
That's the
talk-
thing. This is our first edition of the tournament talk thing, right? So we don't have a lot of tournaments to recap yet because this is what that October, September is kind of like a lull period of all this stuff like that. So we're just kind of like
It's
doesn't
it's the dead zone for us.
yeah,
pretty
dead
much.
zone. So it doesn't make sense to talk about any of the past tournaments. And so we're at the beginning of talking about this new edition of what we're doing with the tournament talk. So we can talk about all the tournaments upcoming,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And some things that happened in the past, and some of your guys both past successes because both you guys have had great success, in the tournament scene. And we got Jamie's tournaments coming up. What other tournaments that you guys want to kind of up and review about?
The Buccaneer Cup comes the weekend right
Buccaneer
after
Cup, yep.
Operation.
Yep.
Really, really hopeful. I'm thinking I might try to sell a charter for that because my guys struggle going back to back to back weekends like that. Families start barking at them. But I really, really want to do that. I really want to dead bait that tournament so bad because it's a live bait, one of the few bigger live bait, dead bait kind of mix deals. And doing the dredge fishing's fun. It's a lot of fun.
They skew the points for the dead bait guys. It goes 300 to 200. It might even be 300 to 100. I can't remember now. Anyway,
I thought
so
it was 1.5.
no, it's either 301 or 3 and 2.
Yeah.
But if you can get on the fish and the dead bait, the live bait guys can't keep up. Hard to compete.
Yeah. And it's good. There are days when the dead bait guys are every bit as effective as the live bait guys. So it's really difficult for the live bait guys there at times.
Wasn't it? What tournament was it last year where they were catching like 40?
That was the
sailfish?
Pelican.
Yeah, it was a pelican. That's right.
And they were fishing up there.
That was all dead bait though. They were getting
Yeah.
that on.
That was off Canaveral.
Yeah,
Right.
they
that was way
they
up. Yeah,
big
way
fish.
up. Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And the year before, though, it happened Stewart and Fort Pierce and all that stuff, and even all the way down into Juneau Pier where the live bait guys were wrecking giant numbers.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get a condition this year that matches up with a tournament. We haven't had that in a long time.
I
Where
think it's a good sign that we got a cold snap early though.
yeah,
Right.
I think with all the tournaments we have lined up from January to the beginning of February, one of those tournaments is going to go off. There's no doubt about it.
and they're so close back to back to back that it's if one goes, then likely two are going to go.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
If it times out well, if it doesn't time out right at the end.
When was that? 7 years ago when the Derby went nuts? 8 years ago, something like that?
I was in the 32, so you were fishing with Bun then.
That was back then. There was no live scoring. You didn't know what anybody else had. So I'm fishing with Jamie Bunn. Jamie Ralph is fishing right next to us on pro payroll. So we're both down a point by ourselves, and I think we had like 16. Jamie
Silver
had,
sailfish derby.
this is a silver sailfish.
Okay.
Jamie's got Ralph had a 14 or 15. Like, dude, we're crushing these guys. So we pull in the inlet. Everybody's got like 30 flags up. We're like, what the hell is going on up here?
So I was on a charter on that deal, and the fellow that I had on the boat was the only angler, only registered angler, only one that was allowed to be an angler on the boat. And it's a 4-line tournament, the Derby is. He desperately wanted to win the master angler in the Derby. So all right, we'll make this happen. Well, the problem was every time you got bit all 4 lines. It was pack fish, same deal. And
So he was the only one that
he's
was
the only
allowed to
angler,
reel.
only allowed one that's allowed to touch the rod, period. Like you could get the baits out and that's it. You're off the
Wow.
rods. So
Is he like reeling them in like this?
you couldn't. With true IGFA rules, you can't pick
One
a
at a
rod
time.
up and put it in a rod holder. Once you pick it up, you're on that one.
You're on it.
So we're sitting there dumping line, dude. We had to quit. We literally had to DQ fish left and right because we're going to run out of line on these rods. We're
Right.
sitting there dumping. It was a disaster. We ran over more fish but the dude caught 14 on day one out of I don't know how many. We were right
Did
there
you
in the
get
middle
a
of
top
this.
angler?
We tied and lost on time.
My boy,
Kid Toomey won top angler on
my
that.
boy Tony, I still mess with him about that.
Yeah. Well, the second day he brought a buddy along, and because it was so overwhelming, the same bite was going on, and the dude, it was a young fella, and the dude was an interesting. So it was so busy, we'd get 3 kite baits up, and we'd just pitch a spinner and let it swim. Well, he'd be over there tightening the drag, loosening the drag, tightening the drag, and didn't even realize he was doing it. So he'd close a bail on a bite, and pow, he blows off like 5 of them in a row. What the hell is going on here? Brand new line on these spinning reels. Well, I finally watching him.
He's popping spools.
Popping the line, main line. He's over there literally. And I said, dude, don't touch my drag. I'm not. As he's wrenching down on it. And Tony turns around and, you're tightening it right now.
Come on.
Oh. Kid had no clue. He'd tighten it all the way till it would stop and then loosen it all the way. And then tighten it all the way. It was the damnedest thing I'd ever seen. Well, that day turned into a disaster too. But we caught a bunch of fish.
Tell me more disaster days.
Oh,
What's like the worst disastrous tournament? Like maybe that was the one you told me like that you've ever like had with things like that.
It's hard to have a disaster when you're getting that many bites. And
it was epic.
I mean, I've had plenty of tournaments where I've made the wrong call, gone the wrong way, and stuff like that. But normally, if you're anywhere in the vicinity, you might have days where you don't get as many bites as everybody else. But if you're in the same area, you're going to get bit eventually. You know?
Yeah.
I remember days fishing with on the double diamond with Gerard where we're in the spot and just like
Can't get bit.
Rusher's just like right next to us and we're like we can't get bit and he's like bringing in fish. We're like right next to you. Like, what the hell's going on? But yeah.
It happens like that.
Yeah.
My guys will get frustrated. They're like, oh man, they're getting bites all around us. I'm like, guys, time out.
Yeah.
You know, last week we were the guys getting all the bites. So just relax.
Take a breath.
They're going to come.
Yeah.
It gets frustrating. Even a guy standing in a tower that knows it should be working and will start working, but I've definitely been there. We've all been there.
I've almost put my feet through the hard top on Joey's boat many times.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh, you kidding me? There's 4. There's none. God. There's 7 back there. Ooh, they're all gone. You know, it happened, but it happens. You know, it's just part of fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no doubt.
You get bad bites or they come up jumping too quick and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, and that's part of the deal. And Skip's getting there now, and I'm getting there now with the crews that we've got. But Nick Carullo, Pretty Nicky, as I like to call him, and we've been calling him that for a long, long time, is on a roll, dude. The kid's on fire, and he's a phenomenal fisherman. He kind of been bouncing off him since he was a little kid. It seems like back when I was running Buckley's boat, way back in 2008, 9 or whatever. I guess first time we started bumping up against him when we get some free entries in those Miami tournaments. Well, not too long after that, he developed a crew that he has bounced from owner to owner with, and they've maintained a tight-knit crew.
Oh, so they have a tight team.
Dude.
Yeah.
And
I think that
That
matters.
makes
It
all
matters.
the difference.
It's huge.
That matters.
And don't take anything away from that kid's skill, because that kid and everybody on that boat is amazingly skilled anglers and fishermen, both. And I consider a major difference there. He's even got a multi-captain scenario going on in that boat and still maintains a tight ship there, which is hard to do.
Right.
But
You got a pretty similar scenario.
we're getting
yourself
there.
with
We're getting
the
there. Well,
reputation
Bernard's in
of-
his second year with us, and we're definitely getting there. But
Right, but even like the level of guys on your boat, I mean, like Bernard's and
excellent angler.
Seasoned, over the years. And
My guy Mike is phenomenal. He's a white marlin guy. I got 2 white marlin guys the white marlin's hard to hook, so I got absolute confidence in them. But it's a crazy thing. Every now and then, Mike had a run last year where in the Derby, dude, on the second day we had enough bites to win the tournament hands down, and he couldn't keep them on there for some reason. And then he backs it up in the very following tournament, 2 tournaments later, and catches a walk-off fish in the one we won last year.
Was that Operation?
No, it's a second tournament.
the one you won?
Challenge?
Yeah.
The challenge.
Challenge, thank you. The
Oh,
challenge. Yeah. He had to walk off fish at the end and was almost 100% in that one. So it's wild how guys can get hot and cold. And the difficult thing, especially with my group, is they're businessmen. Those guys go to work every day, and to try to get them out and get practice, that's almost impossible. They're just too damn busy. So our practice is tournament days, and 2 of them living in Virginia most of the time. We never get the guys together, and I would love to be able to do that. Where most of these other guys, they're working together, competing and playing together, and a lot more than we get to.
Yep. And then you guys used to be on the boat, and you guys.
That's why I used to sell out.
You
I've
got your
never
own-
seen a guy so fast on deck before, dude. He's phenomenal in the tower. He's so much better on the deck. I've never seen anything like that. Really, really good.
agile, huh?
Dude, well, I think what it is he spent enough time in both places where you recognize a scenario occurring and you're able to instinctively move and get things done. You don't have to be the fastest sprinter on the deck to be in the right place at the right time all the time. And dude, I counted on him for that.
It's funny too, because if you want to compare it to something else, you can think about like the NFL or football. And I always say this, like everyone's judging the draft by how well these guys do at the combine.
Game speed, baby.
I think you need to like watch, really judge them more in the film and like their performance, because it's like when you read and react quicker than what I mean, anything else, it doesn't really matter how fast you are. Sometimes if you're there before it, just because you saw it, recognize it sooner. It's the same.
That's
thing.
called game speed.
Yeah,
Yep.
game speed. Yeah, yeah,
Knowing where to be and how to get there.
yep,
And what to do once you're there, and not to lose composure.
yeah.
So many guys you'll see them fumbling, just trying to get a bait on a hook, because they know what they got to get accomplished, but it's so intense the moment that.
Yeah. We've talked about that before too. It's like how like you're really good at keeping your cool and how important that is. And like you get a lot of these captains that are yelling at everyone, and it just kind of makes everyone nervous.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's hard. I'm telling you, it's hard to keep
watch.
It.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch, and it's hard to like. All right, there he is. Get a bait. Get
Yeah.
a bait. All right, come on, guys. He's right there. A little faster. A little faster. A little faster. Oh, right. We'll get the next one. You know?
Good job.
My-
Well done.
It's funny. My guys.
All good things.
My guys can tell when I get mad. They won't even look up. They just like, all right, we'll get the next
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Well, that's important too, though. Staying with that positive attitude. We
You're-
will get the next one.
You're talking about the game speed thing. So one of the things I used to love watching Hines Ward, who played for the Steelers. If you ever, because I'm a fantasy football guy,
Yeah, me too.
and he was always really good. But if you watched him, he just kind of like jog here, play would go off, he would jog out and jog over here, and he'd get his catch. He never ran fast, and he was always just doing everything perfect.
Find your spot.
That's kind of like
Who
how
else was like that? Who was the receiver, that legendary receiver that played for Seattle? Steve
Largent.
something. Steve Largent was the very
never
same
really
way.
fast.
Yep.
Just really good.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
They were built for comfort, not for speed.
But dude, Art's got it right. You don't have to be the fastest. Just get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Be consistent. Like we talked about it last time when we were here with Joey about like practicing. I set the schedule up. Like we're practicing this Sunday, this Sunday, this Sunday, this Sunday. Like be there. So that's part of our tournament schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
We try to make
Because
sure
your
everybody's there.
group's starting to get tight knit now at this point, right?
Yeah, we brought in 2 new guys this year, but our group has fished basically together for 3 years now,
Yeah.
and it makes a huge difference.
Yep. That's good. That's good. We got Jason on there, and is he fishing regular on there, or is he just
Coop?
kind of Cooper Smith? He's just
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
very pop in every now and then.
Coop fishes everything with us.
I like making fun of him every now and then. So if there's an opportunity to make fun of him right now, go for it.
No, I can't.
No?
Coop's really good. I love Coop.
I do too.
Dr. Coop.
Yeah.
Dr. Coop.
All right. So tournament talk, right? This is our edition that we do, and this is the first one. Okay, so I'm real excited about it. And it's going to be a cool show, and I hope everyone turns. We're going to keep going. I'm not stopping the show, but I want people to understand like this is like really cool that you guys want to do this. You know what I mean? And I remember when we first talked about it, you're like, man, you're all jacked up about it. I'm like, you got me all jacked up about it.
Yeah. Well, the cool
yeah,
thing
it's cool.
I think in the future too will be as cool as the extreme condition was, and it's something to talk about. It's about all there was to talk about in that tournament. And my guys did great. We ended up in a 5th place in the deal, but in a 2-day format where we're fishing a more normal condition, and there'll be more technique, or maybe that we can talk about, and what we recognize other guys doing that were successful, or maybe what we were doing that was successful. That really, with that brutal condition, there was no technique. It was guerrilla rules. Do whatever you can, keep a bait in the water, and hopefully when you get bit, it stays on there.
Jump in, grab a bill.
Yeah.
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 We had the same thing happen. I think we might have hit the quad. We definitely had 3 on, but all 4 of the spinners just started screaming line, and like there's fish jumping everywhere, and I knew they were all wrapped up. So I'm holding the rod. I'm totally in free spool to bail of him. My fish is jumping over everything, and my fish ended up pulling off because I couldn't get tight on him. But
It was crazy.
it was
There must have been like 1 million sailfish underneath the surface of that. It sounds like there was just a
Probably.
ton of fish that day.
There were. And well, the condition also had them up and moving quite a bit. It was just so hard
Everything's
for us.
stirring up.
Yeah. But how cool was it to have a rod in your hand in a sailfish tournament? No, if I close this bail, I could potentially. I haven't caught a sailfish in a sailfish tournament, and
When do you think the last one was?
I'm sorry, I was running back real quick there.
last time I fished with you guys was last time I caught one.
I'm talking 2000. I caught one in 2010 in the Mayor's Cup.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was
9
only
years?
3 of us. Yeah, it was only 3 of us on the boat.
And I'm
And
probably
it was a
long
triple
time.
header.
I'm going back at least 5 years probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was on the liquid boat with us.
Yep.
Wow. It's a long time.
So you talk about crews. That was the crew. We had the crew going.
That was the crew.
Blink of an eye, though. We melded in the
Oh, so you had you and you had
Jimmy
Steve-O,
DeMarco,
right?
Steve-O.
And Jimmy DeMarco, Jim, Steele, Keith.
Vince, Virgil,
Vince, yep.
floated the whole thing there. Yep, Keith was on the boat. Jim Steele was on the boat. Chad Troncalli was on the boat.
Yep.
If we got to bring up Schachter, dude. That
Yeah,
kid was
yeah.
great on the camera.
The shacked up.
Yeah.
Schachter was really good, man.
He was really good on the camera.
I got the fish. I got the touch.
Dude, and all that, I mean, that just amplifies the energy. And once we got it rolling, dude, that was a phenomenal crew.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't miss a lot of fish, and
You guys got a ring from the Jimmy Johnson out of that crew.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And got a second place in the 2 second places, but Skip had ditched us by the second one, though. So.
So once we get out of sailfish season, we're going to start getting into meat season on the show, right? And some of the cool tournaments that we have around here, but there's also some cool tournaments that you guys might be traveling to, like up to North Carolina.
The Mid-Atlantic stuff.
The
Skip got to do
Mid-Atlantic
the White Marlin
stuff, and
last
you
year.
guys went to the Maryland show last year, and we talked about that on the when Joey was in. And
Yeah, we did the White Marlin Open, and I'm not sure what we're going to. We may end up going back up there and doing the Mid Atlantic this year.
It's a great event.
So I'm not sure what they want us to do.
it's a big one, the Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, Hydrosport wants to either do stuff in the Gulf or go up there. We're not sure.
Oh, you might go to the Gulf, like to the Venice and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the big tournaments are really Mississippi and Texas, though. It seems
Yeah.
like not much out of Venice for tournaments. It's so secluded.
Yeah, that's true. Most of the Venice is just basically you're
Yeah,
going there and you're running out for yellowfin, you're inside for bull reds
Yeah.
or something like
Well,
that.
the fishing's phenomenal. It's just
Yeah, it's
there's
great.
no people
Yeah, great
there.
fishing. Yeah, exactly.
I think there's a couple out of Mississippi that wants to do.
Yep.
Well, they got
Big
the one
runs.
where they do the parade.
I'm sorry, Alabama. Where they want us to go.
Alabama, like the Orange Beach kind of thing.
Something like that.
Yeah. All right.
There's some great events out there.
Yep.
They got some weird rules to that stuff too. People can bet on you, and there's Calcuttas where you aren't even involved at all, but people are betting on your boat, and they got some neat concepts out there.
Really.
Yeah, I study all this stuff.
They're betting on
People, spectators or other boats can buy your boat in a Calcutta, like they betting on you're going to do well. Or it's
really.
it's strange.
But you can't buy yourself, I don't think.
Right, you can't buy yourself. Yeah, you can't on those Calcuttas. You can't bet on yourself.
Right.
It's weird. But then we got to talk about fly and that Chubb tournament up there in April, early April. But I don't know if have I got the April tournament for the series.
I know they're trying to bring the custom back this year, so we'll see.
Is it the same?
If they can pull
oh
it
my God,
off.
final sales the same week as that Chubb.
Is it?
Yeah, we got to talk to Fly about that and see if we can't get something changed there because they're actually allowing small boats, outboard boats in that one. And fishing, I can't imagine a 50, 60 boat field though in Chubb. It would get really, really tight.
Yeah.
We get really crowded really quick.
Yep. Fly's coming on the show soon too, so
Yeah, we got to
I'll
find
be
out
able to
about
bring
that.
it up to him.
Yeah, because that would suck to have guys that want to fish in both events and can't. There's not that much going on in April, really.
Well, then you start creeping in we used to start creeping into the Marsh Harbor stuff with all Skip's tournaments.
Skip
with
says he's going to run
Abaco.
them again.
They're shooting for it. Yeah. So, I mean, it might be a little bit of a challenge. You know, it might be
I don't know
tough.
when that White Marlin tournament is over there.
But I think a lot of the guys are going to be understanding and accommodating of not having as many amenities as probably as they're used to. So I don't think anyone's really going to not be able to suck it up and just say, hey, yeah, we're here for the greater good. You know, but
no doubt.
You know, I hope it happens. You know what I mean? I really do. You know, I don't want to say for sure if it is going to happen, but they might be saying for sure it's happening at this point.
I'm hearing that.
I think they're pretty confident that they're going to do it.
And then it's going to be meat season.
Then it'll be meat season, right? And then we start getting into, right? We're going to do it this year?
Absolutely.
Rodeo.
Nice. Yep. Rodeo's back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then fishing for muscular dystrophy is a new one on the scene.
Yep. That is, that's in April also, I think.
It is in April.
Maybe it's in March. I can't remember.
I think it's in the very beginning of April.
Is it?
I think so.
Yeah, it's usually, we didn't know it was coming. I had booked a bunch of charters last year, but it was before they bring the boat back north.
It was end of March, beginning of April, I believe.
Yeah, they they really kind of just threw that together quickly last year, but they did it for something that was thrown together quickly. They did a great job.
It was a great event. It was good.
But I think this year they're going to be a little bit more prepared for it. It's going to be even better this year, so that's going to be a cool one. So that got the rodeo, and then obviously Jamie's summer series.
Yeah.
Got the itch on that one again. I kind of took off for a few years, didn't care, but last year I cared. It again, we're getting a group back together that are fishing together enough now that things are working better. And there's a lot of fun to be had in those meat fish tournaments.
Yep. And then there's some of the keys ones like the bull and cow and stuff like that. That's like later, more like June. And
I've never fished any of those.
I never fished any of those either.
I fish also.
They're big. They're big
Oh,
shows down there.
Yep.
People get into that one.
Yep, no doubt. Any of those big fish tournaments, you get a lot more of the not serious competitive angling type folks that feel like they've got a better shot
Right.
at that one big fish or those two big fish in the bull and cow scenario there.
Yeah,
Well, I think-
dolphin fishing, you're just going out and
That's
you're
it.
going dolphin
Yeah,
fishing.
yeah, exactly.
Never know if you're going to catch a 50 pounder.
Right.
Yeah, it's
You might
interesting.
just,
The guys
just
that
running the peanuts only, but
the guys that do it are like the Cohn family down there.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Cohn might be the all-time greatest big dolphin fisherman that has ever lived. I mean, that guy has won way too many of them not to recognize. But so obviously there is a skill to it and a talent to it. But
there's a lot of kingfish tournaments. I mean, there's like, I know.
Sorry.
I know. Listen, actually, there was some video that a friend of mine shared with me with this whole like kingfish, making fun of kingfish tournaments, and
I want to catch kingfish.
yeah,
Well, I take a little bit of oh shoot, I lost the word here. Anyway, I'm not terribly happy with that because they're talking about how reliable Yamaha's over Mercury's. That's
Mercury.
horse shit.
I know.
Greatest motor that ever existed, that 350 Verado.
We got a
You got a
Yamaha
Yamaha
guy in the room.
yeah.
We got a Mercury guy in the room.
No, they're today the modern technology.
I love
they're
them
great
all,
motors.
so.
Yeah, they're all great motors now. They really are.
Yeah. So I mean, as we get into, I guess the whole point of bringing all these tournaments is as we get into summer, we'll be talking about all those tournaments and
maybe we talk about just shooting ideas here as we talk about maybe getting anybody that's interested in listening to this stuff, start throwing some questions. I mean, is there a forum for them to?
That is a great idea. We should do that. We should have people submit questions. They can email us at sales at Connected by Water, I guess. I mean, we can set aside we can create a separate email for this.
It'd be neat if they even put them and I didn't notice if it was possible or not. If you could comment on the videos that you're putting up there, I just watched a bunch of them, but never tried to comment. If you could do that below to where the
You
public
can comment
could then
on
see,
the YouTube, right?
Yeah,
on the YouTube channel, you can leave a comment. So if you want,
I tried to be a member.
you got to subscribe.
I tried to do that. I'm useless at that shit. I failed miserably.
How do you subscribe, John? Tell everybody. Tell everybody how they can subscribe.
Click the link below, point an arrow right to it. But all you need is a Gmail account or email. You
I
can
got a Gmail account.
yeah,
I'm
just
like,
log right into YouTube, and you can subscribe to
I
all
said
the
I already
channels
had an
there.
account, and how do I already have an account? I never did it before. Whatever. That's
All right.
That's not
So
talking
for
about.
those of you that are not as technically inept as Art is, you
Write a
can-
comment below there and ask a question.
subscribe to the YouTube channel first and foremost. It's D.Friel, Connected by Water, and you leave a comment. You leave questions. If you leave a question on the YouTube, we will ask it on the next Tournament Talk edition.
And we might
How about
answer
we can
it.
say that. We might answer it.
We might answer.
We'll
it. If
ask
it's
her.
not-
We might answer it.
Maybe we can do rigs and stuff like that. I mean, sail fishing is pretty simple, but once you get into meat season, there's a bunch of different rigs we'll fish and that kind of stuff.
Yep. So
See, I
yeah,
made that
all right,
mistake,
that's a good
though.
idea. So all right, so we're kind of like organically making this up as we go. That's fine.
Absolutely.
So,
But we got to be careful with that, though, Skipper, because I started doing those seminars and went to the several different fishing clubs, and my guys on the boat, what are you doing? Are you kidding? You got to quit just giving it all away. Well, I went to that, like they called themselves the Sons of Bitches of Broward County.
The
or something.
SOBs, yeah.
And the bastards won 3 tournaments back to back to back after going.
based on the knowledge you gave them.
No, maybe. I don't know. But the bastards had never won a tournament. Next thing you know, they win 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Who is that?
The
This year?
yellowfin. No, this is years and years ago. That the yellowfin there, the electric company there.
Electric Company.
Yeah, the dude that on it was a blue yellowfin twin engine 34.
Linger and Pippin.
No, like rigging.
Oh, like a real electric.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Rigging houses and stuff type electric company.
Gotcha.
Fella.
So anyway, you can ask questions. Skip
I
and I
might
will
answer
answer them.
Maybe.
You don't want me answering your tournament questions, that's for sure. But they will, and we'll actually put this up on Facebook and Instagram. Say ask a question, and we'll announce the whole show. And again, like I said, this is just the lead into the whole thing. So just the intro. So we're probably going to be making up things as we go. Maybe we can have contests on the show. Things like that. Like we'll say the magic word in the middle of the show. If you know the magic word and you win something, we'll give them something. I don't know.
I'm trying to think the next time we get together will be after
Probably derby and operation at minimum.
We might be recording on the December 17th.
Yeah.
Or for that Tuesday, because that's going to be the last episode that we're going to be able to record before the Christmas break, because we're taking 2 weeks off.
Gotcha.
So rather than shove it into the middle of January, which is going to be crazy and hectic for everyone, we still will have an episode then, the January, but we'll do one just before.
I'm trying to think that we're fishing every week of January.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. But, and even if we have to move this to a Monday recording, we can still do that. Whatever's going to work easiest for everybody. But the cool thing is that looks like it's shaping up to be a good sailfish season, right?
Oh, that
Absolutely.
So I think everyone can agree on that. So I think we're going to have lots to talk about.
The nice thing about tournaments in general is everybody's fishing the same water for the most part, whether the fish are biting or not biting or there. That's what I like. I like actually when they're not biting real good, because you have to fish better.
Right.
And I think you present better, have better baits. You're going to get more bites than the other guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
I like giant numbers. I want to see.
I do too.
I want to see
You
how
like
well
the
my
race.
crew. I want to see how well my crew can, because I know I'm going to get the bites when they're pouring through. I'm going to see them sooner probably than a lot of other guys, and I want to see if my guys can keep up.
Yeah.
I want to work them, and I want to know. Generally, I'm going to have more and better bait than a lot of the rest of the people. And at the end of the day, when guys are reusing baits and I'm not, now we're really going to go on a run.
You're raised sardines. Right?
Them and the herring and everybody else. And there's plenty of guys that are doing that. But
Cool. How we doing on time? You want to cut it off? You want to keep going?
We're at 50 right now.
We're at 50 right now. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
on a one-day tournament.
What's that?
On a one-day tournament. With
on
50
a
minutes.
one-day tournament. So that's what I'm saying. So as this episode progresses, we're going to be really hitting it on all the stories that you guys are going to have to be able to tell, and hopefully I'll be able to get out there for a tournament or two myself. So
We're going to have a bunch here coming up.
yeah.
And hopefully both of us will do well and have some real positives, but inevitably there's the clunker that you run across.
Knock on wood here.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
knock on wood.
Hopefully we'll be bringing it through. It sounded like metal.
It's not though. It is.
No, this is IKEA's finest right here.
Who put it together?
I did.
How long did it take you?
It actually didn't take me that long. I mean, there's only like 4 or 5 pieces to this thing. It's no big. It's
That's
just
not too
really,
bad.
really heavy.
But anyway, knock on wood. Hopefully we'll be talking about some wins that we have this year too. So
Yeah.
that would sure be nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd put my money on that Calcutta on both of you guys, so I wouldn't worry about that. You guys are gonna get your own. You guys always get your own. You do.
More and more.
More and more and more. So what's next? What else? Is
Charter
that it?
fish for a while. Yeah.
Charter fish for a while. Just kind of keep yourselves occupied, and you guys are gonna practice on your Sundays and everything like that.
Charter fish, Thanksgiving, and
Yep.
boatyard for me. I'll be in the boatyard for a couple weeks.
Big boat.
Big boat, yeah.
Ooh.
Really?
Fish City. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Who's playing on Thanksgiving football? You don't care.
I'll be fishing.
You'll be fishing.
I'll watch.
I
But
got to fish in the morning.
In the morning. Who's got the games this year? Do you know? I don't even know who plays on Thanksgiving. Not the
Dallas
Dolphins.
always does.
Detroit and Dallas. I don't know about the other.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not the Dolphins.
Not the Dolphins.
That's for sure. So, all right, cool. Well, we're gonna let everyone go here. We did our first tournament talk episode,
Right on.
and we want to let everyone know. Please join us for these episodes. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of knowledge being spilled. You're going to be able to ask questions. It's completely interactive. We might bring a 4th guest on,
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
why not?
Someone who's
Yeah.
had success,
Absolutely.
like that month or whatever. Maybe you
Absolutely.
can bring your Cordula on, and and see if the people want to come on that have been hot lately, or just to
Absolutely.
wanna, share some
Ask
knowledge
and
and
see if
share
they're
some
willing.
stories. Yeah. And if anyone has any suggestions of people we want to bring on to fill the 4th seat,
and
Absolutely.
questions,
we can do
questions.
that. Yeah, and questions, lots of questions. So we'll put that out on social media too. Like, hey, we have questions, and we're really gonna.
Yeah, I tried to
keep this
figure out how I
definitely-
could share that stuff last time too and failed miserably. So you're gonna have to teach
On
me
what?
that. Our
On the
last-
Facebook?
Yeah.
Just have Kira do it. She'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So, for those of you that are not as technically inept as Arts App.
Let me plot a course, no problem. But working the social media.
All right, cool. All right, well, that's it. So we're going to wrap this one up, and thank you guys for joining us today. And this is the Connected by Water Tournament Talk Edition presented by Joey Cardi, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Subaru.
There you go, you got
I'll get
that.
it. See, as it goes on, I'll get it. And, I have to say, too, I got that truck, right? So we got the new Ram truck.
The
I
thing's
got
I
bad.
haven't talked about the truck yet.
I got a
Art's
Ram.
one.
I love this truck. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just saying that
You got the
because
Rebel. It's fast.
this thing is badass. Like, I'm not kidding.
Oh,
like right away, he was like, Joey's like, show him the Rebel. So I'm like, all right. So I drove the truck and I'm like, I have to see other trucks. I'm like, because I can't make my decision this quickly because I'm like, this is the one, right? But so I checked out a couple of other trucks and Liz was like, first one.
Joey tried to get me one of those. I'm like, it's way too fast. I
I
can't
love
have
this
it.
thing. I love it. We're gonna wrap it.
Nice.
We're gonna make it
Nice.
look. Yeah, we're gonna make it look cool. And so the funny thing is like we were like, what are we gonna name the truck?
Oh, you got to name it.
We got to name like my kids name all the cars. Right? We had a red Acadia before this. And they named it Fast Red. Stupid thing.
Kids.
Yeah. Right. So my 6-year-old son has gotten this kick with this Gordon Ramsay commercial. Like, use a cocktail stick.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So now he's become like a Gordon Ramsay fan because he like laughs his ass off every time he
Such
sees
an
that commercial.
ass, though.
Such an ass. Well, my
I might
son's
go to jail
6,
for
he
that
doesn't-
guy.
The
But
only
it's all a front.
the
don't
only
care.
thing my son knows about Gordon Ramsay is that commercial.
Use a cocktail stick.
Right, it's use a cocktail stick. So I can at any given time drop that on him.
He's chuckling.
Hey, Sean, use a cocktail stick. Just like that. And then he starts laughing. Right. So he goes to me, he's like, Dad, I know we can name the truck. I'm like, what? He goes,
Cocktail stick.
Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, look at that kid's got a win.
Oh. I'm like, that's a name.
That's it.
So we named the truck Gordon Ramsay.
Nice.
Yeah.
You gonna put it in the wrap?
I was going to say powered by Joey Carty, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Subaru on the back. So I'll get faster at that. So it'll start flowing. So, all right.
I got it down.
You got it down. Well, it's a good family to be a part of, so we're certainly proud of it.
Great dude.
Thank you guys for coming. We're going to do it again very soon, all the time, nonstop. Your ego's not your amigo. Always do your best, let God do the rest. Always remember to buy all your cars and trucks at Joey Carty, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Subaru, Ram. I got all that backwards.
But you got it all.
I got it all. No matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we are always connected by water. Thank you, guys.
My pleasure.
Thank you.